Our topic for today is about Django REST framework. Yeah. So, build a REST API with Django. So, si REST API natin, isa siyang API that we're going to use to build some application using in our Django. So, sa last topic natin about Django views and framework, so nakapag-display tayo doon ng mga data natin and um, nakapag-design tayo using your CSS. So, dito sa Django REST Framework, so first, alamin muna natin kung ano ba yung REST Framework or yung tinatawag natin na RESTful APIs. So, a RESTful API acts as a translator between two machines communicating over a web services. So, siya yung nagiging mediator o nagmamagitan para makapag-usap yung ating mga web services. Okay? So if you are familiar with the concept of API, okay, this is just like an API, but it's working on the RESTful Web service. Okay? And the API is used by two applications trying to communicate with each other over a network or internet. So kaya nga yung subject natin, tinawag na integrative programming technology. So we're going to use some APIs that will connect two systems. So yung pinaka-ating goal nito. But then, in a web developers program REST API, that server can receive data from applications. Okay? Yung ginagamit natin. And this application can be a web application, an Android or iOS apps, okay? Or any application. The RESTful APIs return JSON files which can be interpreted by a variety of devices. So, kapag yung data natin is on a JSON file, so it can be interpreted, okay, in any devices. So, even sa mobile phones or sa ating computers, mas madali natin ma-read yung ating data. So, in Django, what is the REST framework? Django REST framework is a powerful and flexible toolkit for building web APIs. So, since APIs yung ating pinakang main goal sa subject natin, makapagawa tayo ng API, makapag-connect tayo sa API, ang gagamitin natin for the Django is yung ating REST framework. So here are some reasons you might want to use the REST framework. So number one, the web browserable API is a huge usability boon for developers. So malaking tulong ang paggamit ko ng ating REST API if we are building the web applications. The authentication policies including packages for OAuth 1A and OAuth 2 o yung ginagamit natin for security. Yung mga logins, even sa pag-check out ng items. Ayan. Meron siyang, si REST framework natin ay meron mga built-in functions. Yan. And also, it includes the serialization that supports both ORM and non-ORM data sources. It also have a customizable all the way down. Just use regular function based if you don't need more powerful features. So yung mga maliliit na detalye niya ay pwede natin magamit when we are building some web applications. It also has extensive documentation and great community support. So since this application or API is free, so maraming support na pwede natin mapagtanungan if you have problem, halimbawa sa authentication, sa logins, sa registration. So pwede tayo makapagtanong sa community and pwede tayo mag-rely dun sa kanyang documentation. And it also used and trusted by internationally recognized companies including Mozilla, okay, the Red Hat, Heroku, and Eventbrite. So ito yung kanilang ginagamit, kalimitan, sa mga application nila. Itong REST framework. Okay, so how we're going to install the REST framework in our Django application. Okay, for the installation, by using the pip, okay, including any optional package you want, just type pip install Django REST framework in our command prompt. So by typing the pip install Django REST framework, so it will install all the requirements. So after installation, we're going to create our new project. So first, I'm going to my desktop to create my directory, okay, in the desktop, and we're going to make a directory name REST API, okay. After we are to create the folder REST API, let's go to the REST API folder, and then inside that we're going to create the new project. So let's type Django admin, then start project, then my project. Okay. So to check that if we have successfully created the project, you can browse it in your desktop. In desktop, I created the REST API. So ito yung folder na ginawa natin. And then inside that, nandun yung ating my project and all the Python files na kailangan natin for this project. And after we create that, we're going to create now an application. And we're going to name it API Basics. Para mas kita ninyo. So you can create using your command prompt, and also you can do that in your Visual Studio Code. So in your Visual Studio Code, just open the folder in your desktop, the REST API. Okay, para yun yung maging workplace ninyo. Okay, so now change the directory to create a project after you create the app. Okay, so we're going to create. So dito kasi sa pag ang gamit nyo ay itong Visual Studio Code, as I said, pwede tayo dito mag-direct na ng terminal. So nandito na agad tayo sa folder natin ng REST API, and all we have to do is to enter on our project directory, which is my project. So cd my project. So once we are in the directory of our project, we can now create our application. So Python manage that file, start up, okay, API underscore basics. So magaya lang din ito nung ating mga pinagagawa last time, create ang project and create ng application using the Django. But then, in this topic, later we're going to use the REST framework. Kasama natin siya. Okay, so API basic is created. As you can see, nandito na siya. And then after that, once we done creating our application, okay, so bagong magkalimutan, we need to create our super user. And to do that, we just need to type Python manage that file, create a super user. Okay, so leave it blank. username is use, email address, and your desired password. Let's say, okay, yes, very short lang. So, after we create our user, okay, may user na tayo, you need to open your Django settings and add the Django REST framework with your created app in the installed app settings. So, para ma-recognize naman ni Django yung ating ginawang application. So, in your settings, okay, we're going to add yung ating gagamitin na REST framework. Okay? And yung ating, syempre, yung ginawa nating application, which is API underscore basic. So, dalawa na yung ating nilalagay. Since gagamitin natin sa REST framework, kailangan natin siya include and then yung ating application. Okay, so save lang natin. So the important concept in building API is a serializer. Okay, so ito yung isang component ng REST API na kailangan natin i-apply para magamit natin yung kanyang features. So we need to create our new Python file in your created app and bring it serializer.py. Okay. So right now we're not adding anything to this file. So just leave it blank. So after that, after we added the REST framework, API basic, let's go to app basic and create a new file, name it serializer.py. So gagamitin din natin yan mamaya. So mag-trigger dyan is yung ating REST framework. Okay. So before that, let us know what is a serializer. Okay. So before sending data to the client, we need to serialize the data to JSON. Okay. So the first thing we need to get started on our web API is to provide a way of serializing and deserializing the data instances into representations such as JSON. So we can do this by declaring the serializer that work very similar to Django forms. It's time to create our model. You need to open your models.file in your application and then add this code. Basically, we're going to create an article model. Article. It's just article. Ano? So in your models.py, here, we're going to create a new class named article. Okay? And we're going to do start. Style natin siya. Don't forget to use semicolon. Then the title is equals to models. So ito yung mga fields natin na gagamitin. Our field. So max length niya. So let's max length. So let's say it's 100 lang for the title. And for the author, models that field or character field. Max length niya is 100 also. 100. And for the email, is equals to models the email field. So max length is 100. Okay? And then for the date, kung kailan na-create yung article, let's say models dot. So let's make it date time field para meron din oras. And we're going to set this to auto now underscore I is equals true. So kapag ganito yung ginawa natin, auto now add, it means kung kailan kayo mag-click ng save button dun sa inyong web application, yun yung magiging date and time na masisave yung ating article. And also, we're going to create a method underscore str. Okay? To ourselves. So, para kapag tinawag natin or tinawag natin yung nag-open tayo ng article, ang i-return niya is yung lamang title. Self.title. Okay? Okay. So, that's after. Next is, okay, so since nag-add tayo ng model, tapos ay nag-create. So, para mag-take effect ito dun sa ating application, okay, we need to run again the Python migrations. So, at in the top, pagkaasa natin ang ginawa, we have added the REST framework, okay, sa ating installed app, tapos nagdagdag din tayo ng API, basic, okay? You need to migrate para mag-take effect yung ating ginawa. And to do that, you just simply type Python manage that file, make migrations, okay? So attributes of manage make migrations. So, meron tayong open model. Kung takay po error tayo doon, make migrations. Save natin. Mag-hindi na save. Okay, so as you can see, the created model article. So, yung ating ginawang article is already included in our project. And for that, make migrations, manage that file, migrates command. Sorry, migrate lang. Yan. Okay, apply API basics 001. It's okay. So, wala tayong naging error. So, after the migrations, ang gagawin naman natin is to add the model into our admin.py. So, because we're using the Django super user for adding the data. Okay, so kagaya lang din ito ng ating ginawa last time. We're going to admin.py sa ating basic. And then, i-add natin si from.models. Let's import our article. Okay? Ayan. So, yung mga nandyan na may computer or laptop sa harapan, pwede yung sundan. Okay. So, then, we are going to add yung admin.site that register article. Okay. So, we use this code para dun sa ating web browser, sa admin panel natin, ay makita yung ating article na model or yung table natin na article. Okay. So, next is, okay, in our serializers.py, okay, so, di ba kanina nag-create tayo ng serializers.py? So, if you're using this method, kung gagamitin natin na to, article serializers, serializer na to, this serializer class defines the fields that get serialized and deserialized. Itong title, yung author, yung email, at date. Okay? So, the first part of the serializer, it defines the fields that get serialized, and the create and update. So these methods defines how fully fledged instances are created or modified when calling the serializer. Okay? So pag tinawag natin si create, it will validate the data. Return the article instance giving the validated data. So yan, kukuhain lang yun. And sa update naman, update the return an existing article instance given the validate data. So we're going to type this instance the titles, validated data that get. Okay? So kung ano yung nandun sa data natin, yun yung ipipikatin niya. So serializer class is very similar to the Django form class and includes similar validation flags on the various fields such as required. Okay, so you can see meron tayo dito yung kanyang required na uh, data field, star field, email field, okay, date time field, so yung kanyang maximum length. So ganito yung pag-serialize ng data natin. Okay, so balikan ko lang yung ating serial model. Okay, so dun sa ating serializer, ilalagay natin ito. So first from REST Framework, okay, we're going to import the serializers. Again, if you're using the Visual Studio Code, so meron niyang IntelliSense na mag-appear na kung ano yung gusto niyo i-type. So from models, so kailangan natin yung models natin. Let's import the article. Okay? And then we're going to create class. Let's call this article serializer. Okay? Then serializers, we're going to use that serializers dot serializer. Serializer. Okay? And then semicolon. After that, so kagaya nyo sa ating models.py, okay, mag-create din tayo nito. Okay? So, let's just copy this. Madali tayo. But then, instead of models, we're going to use the serializer. Okay? Serializer.car field, serializers.email field, serializer date time, and tanggalin na natin to. Okay? So after we created that, we're going to create a method named create. Okay? And then, ang gagawin lang niya is for the self, sabihin sa sarili lang niya, sa page lang niya yun, kapag tinawag ka doon, and validated underscore data. So, yun yung kailangan nating parameters sa create. And it will return the article objects that create. Okay? Kung ano yung mga validated data na pinasok natin. Okay. And then for the update, let's use update method. So same self and then instance. Okay, instance. And then yung validated data niya. Okay? And then, ano yung mga instance na yan? So, instance ng title. Okay? Is equals to validated data that get title. Iba-validate niya muna bago niya. So instance that okay. So, kailangan din natin for the author. The instance title. For the author, kailangan din natin yan. Or instance author. So, ang ginagawa nito ay kapag nag-update ka sa ating data, iba-validate niya kung tama ba yung pinasa mo. Kasi baka mamaya, napamali yung ah, data na i-update ko. Halimbawa, nag-update nyo more than 100 character yung yung nilagay niyo. So, nagbabalidate siya bago niya i-save yung tama. So, pag may error, so, hindi niya yun i-save ng subject. So, instance title, author, next is email. Okay. Validated data, email, and then date. Next is the date. Okay. Date, instance, date. Next is instance save. Okay, and then return instance. Okay, save lang natin. After we created the serializers file, okay? So next is we're going to open our Python shell. So to test kung mag-save ba yung ating encode na data. Okay? So let's open our Python shell, and to do that, let's type Python manage that file and then shell. Okay. So nandito na tayo sa ating shell terminal, and we're going to add or import yung ating mga pinagagawa kanina. First, yung ating API basic, di ba? Yung ating application, API basic, models. Okay, import natin yung ating ginawang article. Okay? And then from API underscore basic, yung ginawa nating file na serializer, import natin yung article serial. So ito yun. Yung ating ginawang serializer na file and yung ating model na ginawa. So, since kailangan natin ma-access yung mga data fields dito, you need to include or to import them dito sa ating Python shell. Oops. Serializers. Okay. So, ano So, since ang nilagay ko lang dito is serializer, so you can see serializers, yung type ko dito. Okay, so dito, mayroon tayo serializer without S. Okay? Or, it's not serializer. Meron ko serializer line 4. Okay. Mali yung aking type. Okay? Okay, so from API basic serializer, API underscore base. Click ko lang ulit yung kanina. Of models, import, article. Tapos, siyempre, gagamitin natin yung sa ating REST framework. So, since naka-install na sa atin yan, tatawagin na lang natin. Kailangan natin doon yung ating render. Ang render ng JSON, import JSON, render. Render. Yan. Render. Okay, then from REST underscore framework parsers import JSON parsers. So, okay, si JSON renderer at si JSON parser, ito yung gagamitin natin para yung serialized data natin is mabasa. So, si renderer, siya yung babasa nung na-serialize natin na data, and then si parser naman, siya yung magbabasa para ma-display sa ating web browser yung ating serialized na data. Okay? So, after that, okay, so let's try to create our first article. Okay, by using, so we're going to declare variable A as our article. So, article, okay, yung name ng ating model, article. So, si title, ang lalagay natin is my journey to Django. Okay. And then author, let's say SirYuls. Alright, and then for the email, let's see, Johan. Ayan, so yung magiging naman ng ating first data for ating articles. Okay? And then, para ma-save yan, so using our variable A that save the data. Okay? So if you check your Django admin panel, you can see magkakaroon na tayo doon ng ating first article. So let's see kung meron nga ba. So mamaya natin check. Tapusin lang muna natin ito. Okay, hindi pa natin na. Okay. So after that, let's serialize the article. So we're going back to Django Shell. So balik tayo dito. So yung ating ginawang data, itong sinave natin na to, serialize natin yan. Okay, so let's say serializer is equals to article serializer. So, alin yung isi-serialize natin? Yung laman po ni A. Okay? And then, serializer.data. So, pag tingnan natin yan, so, ito na yung laman ng ating JSON. Okay? Ito yung serialized data natin. So, yan, yung ating title, yung author, yung email, at saka yung date. So, di ba, kanina, hindi natin tinype yung date since ang ginawa natin sa build natin, di sa ating models, ay auto now add true. Ito yung naging data. 4/6/2021 and then yung server time natin. So, since ang ibang server yung nakalagay sa atin, it's 10/27. Okay? So since we have data na sa ating article, you can add more. So just type, lang natin ng laman. Okay? So my journey to Django, type natin. Let's say, oops. Lagay pa tayo ng isa pang title. Ay, sige po ma'am. Thank you din po ma'am. So, yan. Okay, so continue. So, edit lang natin itong title. Let's say, my Django tutorials. Okay, so dito sa Django tutorials, yung bago nating title, and then signal lang siguro yung kanyang email and yung kanyang author. and then A dot save. Okay? And then tayo sa serialize. Serializer equals article serializer. Okay? Okay, serialize na ulit natin. Then let's see kung ano yung magiging data. Serializer data. Okay, so may Django tutorials. So yan, isa-isa lang. And paano pag gusto natin makita lahat? Okay? So to do that, we're going to use yung serializer query sets instead of models instance. Okay? Query sets naman yung ating gagamitin para makita natin yung lahat ng data. And to do that, serializer is equals to article serializer and then article dot objects dot all. Okay? And then comma, many, sabihin lahat, is true. Okay? Let's run. Okay, serializer, 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 okay. Okay, so para makita natin lahat, so see, di ba, isa pa lang yan. Gawa ulit tayo ng isa pang variable. Content is equals to, so dito na gagamitin na natin si JSON renderer. Render natin yung ating serializer data. Okay? And then, try natin ma-serialize yun. Content is render. Translate model instance into Python native data types. Yan yung pagkagawa niya. Okay. Serialization of data. Okay. So our article serializer class is replicating a lot of information that also contained in the article model. So as you can see, dito sa ating kapag ang gamit natin ay serializers, okay, halos lahat ng data o yung field dun sa model natin ay kailangan natin kopyahin dito. Okay? But then, meron tayong tinatawag na model serializer kung saan we can select kung ano lang yung data na gusto nating display. Okay? So in the same way that Django provides both forms classes and model form classes, the REST framework includes both serializer classes and the model serializer classes. Okay. So let's try to refactor our serializer using the model serializer class. So this long code na to, yung napakahabang code na to, okay, comment out muna natin yan, ay paiksi natin. So there's a way na ang gagamitin natin ay yung model serializer. So using this model serializer, mas mapapaunti natin yung code. Okay? So serializers.model. Gagamitin natin is model serializer. Okay. And then, ang kailangan na lang natin doon, we need to create another class, meta. Okay, plus meta. Okay. Model, anong model ang ating tatawagin? Article. So, yun lang naman yung model natin. And ano yung mga fields na kailangan natin? We need the ID. Okay? We need the title. And also, we need the author. So, the email and yung date kung kailan siya na-create, hindi na natin siya tinawag. Since, pwede natin i-select lang kung ano na yung gusto natin makita. Okay? So, para mag-display naman siya sa ating web browser, syempre, kailangan natin ng views. Okay, alright. So, let's see how we can write some API views using our new serializer class. For the moment, we use, so hindi muna tayo gagamit ng REST framework, other features. So, we'll just write the views as regular Django views. So, punta tayo kay views.py. Okay. And then, create tayo ng, medyo mahaba ito, no? Kukopyahin ko na lang muna. So, yan. Okay. Okay, so nag-create tayo ng, so we're going to use the extemp. Habang lang dito. Kailangan natin dito ng ERS. Configure lang natin ha. So para gumana itong CSRF extemp, we need to include yung Django views decorators.crf, and we need to import the CSRF itself. So para yan sa ating mga cross-site scripting para hindi ganun kadaling i-hack yung ating web application. So if the request method is get, okay, so articles, kukuhain natin lahat ng laman ng articles. And then serializer, serialize natin yung articles na laman. Many to return JSON, response, serializer data, save false. And kapag post naman yung ating ginamit na method, the data, the JSON parser, okay, ipaparse natin yung request niya, and then si-serialize natin, kagaya ng ginawa natin sa Python shell, okay, and si-serialize natin yung data. And check muna natin kung valid ba yung na-serialize natin data. And if valid, saka natin siya isa-save. Okay? So, kapag wala nakita, 404, 400, status quo. Okay, so, going back to the slides. Okay. So, we're going to create a new file, Python file in your app, API basic, at name it URL, urls.py. So, balik tayo kay Python natin. Create ulit tayo ng another file. So, di ba kailangan natin ito? So, urls.py. And dyan sa loob ng urls.py natin, we need to include from Django the URLs, import ang ating path, tapos from views, para mag-view natin siya from that views, other, import natin si article list. Okay? So, yung article list na yun, ito yung ating ginawang method sa loob ng ating Django views. Okay? So kaya dito, tinawag natin, include natin, article list. And our URL pattern is equals to, okay, anong unang path natin? So since kapag nag-type tayo dun sa ating path ng article, ang madi-display natin dun sa ating web browser ay yung article list. Okay? Okay, so next is, you also need to add this file to your main URLs.file like this. So, i-add naman natin yung ating, i-include natin yung ating API basic dun sa ating admin. So, main natin. Ano ba yung main natin? Itong nasa baba, URLs.file. So, since admin lang yan, dadagdag natin yung ating path for ating application. Okay, anong pangalan? Pag nagtawag tayo ng article, okay? So, article, sorry, dito. Yan. Blank muna yan. Blank, tapos, let's say, include natin yung API basic. Okay? That URLs. Include API basic URLs. And dito, let's say include. Okay, so let's try to run our server. Python manage and file, manage server. Okay, walang error. So, meron tayong error, no module name API basic serializers. Meron tayong error. Kung sa mga nahihirapan mag-debug, basahin nyo lang kung saan siya nakakaroon ng error. So, views.py line 6. Views.py line 6 serializers. So, di ba, serializer lang yung ating lagay. Okay? O yan. So, okay na siya. Open natin by using follow the link, control click natin. Pwede na tayo mag-copy-paste. So, ito na yung ating page. So, pag pinuntahan natin si article, yan. So, yun yung laman ng ating pinaka-database natin. Naka-JSON siya. So, pag naka-JSON na yung inyong mga data, mas madali nyo siyang matatawag or mas madali nyo siyang ma-import or magagamit sa ibang systems. Kasi ang JSON, pwedeng gamitin sa ibang application. Okay? Kung nakagamit na kayo niyan, pwede nyo siyang tawagin kahit sa ang application. Sa webman o sa mobile, so pwede nyo siyang magawa. So, dito sa ginagawa natin ng mga activities dito sa Django, so, pwedeng ito yung maging back-end ninyo kung meron kayong gagawing application or web application or even sa mobile application. So, pwede nyo pag-combine ninyo. So, yung mga data, halimbawa, nasa isang database lang siya, kung isi-serialize nyo siya, o gaya ng ginawa natin ito pwede nyo itong matawag sa inyong mobile app. Okay, so yan, dalawa natin data na nilagay ko. ID1 and ID2, may Django tutorials, may journey to Django. Okay, so yan yung laman ng article natin. And syempre, paano pag gusto natin tawagin lang yung specific articles? Okay, so for that, we're going to create article detail or so we need to create a view that corresponds to an individual article. Okay, ika nga. Kung gusto natin makita yung individual article, syempre, kailangan natin gumawa ng view para doon. Okay? And it can be used to retrieve, update, or delete that article. So now, open your views.py, okay? And we need to add a new view function like this. So, nakikita niyo yan. So, article detail, article, request method get, request method put, request method delete. Okay, so before this, we have to create a view function for the get and post of the article, but this is for delete and updating the articles. Also, make note that there are function-based API view, but when we have use class-based or generic views, we don't use this code. So itong put at saka yung delete, minsan wala yan. Hindi nagagamit yung pag generic views yung ating gagamitin. Okay? So, medyo mahaba yan, Create tayo ng another dito sa ating article list. Dagdagan natin siya ng article detail. Okay, so dito, dagdag natin si detail. Okay? Yan. Nag-use ko na lang article detail. Objects. So we're going to create a try catch extension here. So let's try if the articles object that gets was to PK except article does not exist. Okay, so status niya is 404 or not found. Kapag daw hindi nagtugma, so update. And if the request method is get, the serializer, okay, serialize niya yung ating data. And response niya yung serialized na data na. And kapag put naman, data JSON parse, request, serialized article, data is valid, mag-save siya. Okay? And then kapag delete naman, i-delete niya yung selected na article. Okay, so let's have, hindi na lang to. Edit natin yung ating urls.py sa ating application. Iladagdag natin si path. Okay? So, pag tinawag natin si detail with its specific ID, okay? Ating primary key. And then, ang tatawagin niya ay yung ating article underscore detail. Okay? And also, huwag niyo kakalimutan na i-add siya dito sa ating class. Okay? Article detail. Okay, para matawag siya dito. Alright, so let's try. Balik tayo sa ating browser. Okay, as you can see, ito yung browser natin. Pag nag-type tayo ng article, nilalabas kapag detail. Okay, not found kasi wala tayong nilagay na number or kanyang primary key. Yan, sa detail, makikita lang natin yung may ID na number 1. Since ito yung kanyang primary key. Number 2, ayan, ID number 2, Django Framework. Okay? So, ganyan yung pagtawag dun sa serialized data natin from Django. Okay? Questions?